Well, the sauce is good.
Good. I like it when you say, that's good.
Hi guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. If you are looking for home-style recipes made ketogenic that the whole family will enjoy, you've come to the right channel. Let's go ahead and get started. This particular recipe is called Chicken Divan, and I found this when I Googled 10 of the most popular and oldest American casseroles. And it's very easy. It's been around since the 50s. It's been changed a little bit to add condensed soups, but I have made it ketogenic and I hope that you will enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get started. You are going to need a couple of steps. And the first one is you are going to need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You are also going to need a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. In my baking dish, I already have 20 ounces of cooked broccoli florets. You are also going to need 3 pounds of cooked chicken. You can use a rotisserie chicken, as I have done, because I enjoy both dark and white meat. You could use thighs, you could use all breast, you could use canned chicken, whatever you like. The only important thing is that you need 3 pounds and it needs to be cooked. As I stated, we already have our 20 ounces of cooked broccoli florets in the bottom of our 9 by 13 inch pan. I'm just going to go ahead and add the chicken onto the broccoli. So to complete our Chicken Divan Casserole, we need a sauce. So I'm going to begin creating that sauce here in this medium-sized bowl. Traditionally, Chicken Divan was created with what they call a bechamel sauce, which is a white sauce, and it usually had different ingredients, and then Gruyere cheese was added to it. As the years have gone by, a lot of people have substituted condensed soups such as cream of chicken. Well, that is very handy, but it is not very ketogenic. So I wanted to harken back to the more traditional Chicken Divan, which was using a white sauce. So I have done a couple of things, and I have decided to use 2 ingredients that are more ketogenic. So the first one is sour cream. So you need 8 ounces of full-fat sour cream. And we're just going to put everything together in one bowl and make our sauce. The second sauce ingredient is going to be 8 ounces of mayonnaise, also full fat. You can use any type of mayonnaise that you enjoy. Look for one that has the lowest amount of carbs. I'm just going to mix this a little bit. We are going to whisk this in a minute. But I'm just basically incorporating the 2 fats together. So it's important that we season this, because without any seasoning, we would just basically have a plain sauce. And that's not really going to season our broccoli and our chicken, and that is what we are looking for. So I'm going to begin adding a couple of seasonings that I enjoy. The first one that I'm going to be putting in is a few dashes of the Kinder's Seasoning Master Salt. And this is basically garlic, sea salt, and butter flavoring. If you don't have access to this, you could of course just use whatever seasonings you enjoy. All of the seasonings that we use are always linked on our Amazon favorites page, and a lot of times Amazon is the best place to find these kind of things if you do not have big box stores near you that carry something similar. The next thing that I'm going to be putting in is Trader Joe's 21 Seasoning Salute. If you do not have a Trader Joe's nearby, you can of course just use an herbal seasoning. Mrs. Dash makes one, McCormick makes one. There are several good grocery store options if you do not have 21 Seasoning Salute. Of course, you can always order this online. We have it linked below as always. I am an unapologetic aggressive seasoner because I really feel like seasoning adds so much to a recipe. And as always, definitely add the amount of seasoning that you prefer. The next seasoning that I'm going to talk about that is extremely traditional in Chicken Divan and was part of the original 1950s recipe that was part of this original restaurant idea is curry powder. I happen to really enjoy curry, but curry can be a somewhat polarizing seasoning, so of course you can omit this if you don't enjoy it, but it just adds that little bit of something special. And curry powder is usually a combination of turmeric, which gives it that beautiful yellow color, and also things like coriander, black pepper, chilies, cumin, cloves, and other things that give it that wonderful seasoning. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of this. So I'm just going to use my whisk and I'm just going to slowly incorporate the seasoning into our other sauce ingredients. I'm using a Danish whisk here to make it a little bit quieter for our editor. I'm sure he will appreciate it.
Thank you.
You can, of course, use an extremely loud whisk if you want to in your own downtime.
It's your own house, do whatever you want.
It's your own house. I'm not serving you food. You will be making your own food. This is not a restaurant. So there we have our sauce. The final ingredient that I'm going to add to this particular sauce is a little bit of lemon juice. Now, I have found in my own personal life and also from watching food television that it's very essential to have a bit of acid to cut fat in recipes. And of course, lemon juice was part of the original Chicken Divan recipe once upon a time in the 50s. So I'm going to be using a little bit of fresh lemon. Here I have a fresh lemon. And I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to juice it in my reamer. This is called a reamer. You don't have to have a reamer, but they're very old-fashioned kitchen tool. And this one is, of course, linked. We always link our tools below. And what I like about it is that it has the section where you can squeeze the lemon onto it, but then it also has a little guard here with little holes in it. So when you are juicing the lemon, the seeds get trapped in here and they do not end up in your sauce, which is really wonderful in my opinion. So you're just going to want to take your half a lemon, I'm going to use half here, and you just want to go ahead and run it back and forth. And you'll see that quite a bit of your lemon gets reamed or squeezed here in this particular area. And then I'm just going to pour my lemon juice, and you can see that the seeds remain here and your fresh lemon comes out there. And this lemon is going to add a bit of brightness to our sauce. Okay, so there's our delicious creamy sauce. And I'm going to set this aside and bring over our casserole dish. So here is our broccoli and our chicken that we have pre-prepared. We are going to want to add some cheese. In the original Chicken Divan Casserole recipe, it was Gruyere cheese, which is incredibly popular, especially for things like fondue. If you were going to go to a fondue restaurant or something like that, that is what you would find that they would make the fondue out of. Gruyere cheese is very similar to Swiss cheese. It is very hard and strongly flavored cheese. So if you wanted to use Swiss in this recipe, it would also be very good. But you can, of course, use any kind of cheese that you would like. I'm using sharp cheddar here just because it's a little bit more readily available, and I'm always looking for cheeses that the average person is able to find in their grocery store. Cheeses like Gruyere can be a little bit more difficult to find, and you would have to go to the deli section. So I'm just using regular grated sharp cheddar in this particular step, but of course use whatever cheese that you enjoy or that you have access to. I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this over. And this is 8 ounces. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir a little bit of the cheese and the chicken and broccoli together, just so that everything is incorporated a little bit. Our sauce is basically going to get into the nooks and crannies of this casserole, so you don't really have to stir if you don't want to. I just happen to like the little bit of green poking out in this particular dish. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take our pre-prepared sauce ingredients that we just did and pour it over our casserole. And I'm just going to spread that around. As I said before, this is going to get into all the nooks and crannies, because once it hits the heat of the oven, it is going to seep down into the rest of our ingredients. What's so wonderful about this casserole is that it is quite quick to get it on the table, of course, if you're not filming like we are, especially if you use ingredients that you already have, like the pre-cooked chicken. It makes for a very easy weeknight meal. So I'm going to set this aside for a second. So I want to talk about our final step. I have set our casserole aside, and this is the final step for our casserole before we put it in the oven. So traditionally, Chicken Divan has a breadcrumb topping. Well, we know that things that are generally found in breadcrumbs are not very ketogenic. A lot of times, as the years have gone by, as I stated before, condensed soups were used, as well as potato chips or Ritz crackers, because those were things that were found in the 50s and 60s when this particular casserole came into popularity. So I want to mimic something that is very similar in texture to that, but in keeping with a ketogenic lifestyle. So what I'm going to be using is what I call keto panko, which is a combination of grated Parmesan cheese and a little bit of almond flour. So that is what I'm going to be using in this step. So I have a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and that is the Parmesan cheese that you usually find in the shaker can. It usually has a green top. And then I'm also going to be using the similar amount, which is half a cup of almond flour. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in a bowl. So it will be a cup total of those two ingredients together. Then to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of melted butter, and then I'm going to stir it around and create a breadcrumb topping that I'm going to then sprinkle on top of my casserole. So I have my bamboo fork here, and I'm just going to toss that melted butter into our keto breadcrumb mixture. So when our casserole bakes, this is just going to give it that beautiful texture on top that you find in a lot of traditional casseroles. So there it is, our keto breadcrumb mixture, and I'm just going to sprinkle that on top of our casserole now. So here we go. I'm just going to sprinkle our keto breadcrumbs onto our casserole. Okay, so there is our Chicken Divan Casserole. I'm going to put this into our 350-degree oven, and we're going to cook it for about 30 minutes. I may broil the top to make our keto breadcrumbs a little bit browner, and the last about 1 minute. Ready to come out. So there it is, and I toasted the top, our keto breadcrumbs. So here's our chicken divan casserole, and I'm going to let it sit here for about 10 minutes, as I do with all of my casseroles, and then we are going to serve it and let CJ have a taste. Look at that creaminess. There it is, Chicken Divan Casserole.
Hi.
Another fabulous casserole.
Yep, I see.
I just keep them coming.
Yep. It's been a while though.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's been a minute.
I was Shrek. I've never heard of this casserole before until you were giving me all the history throughout the week.
Yes.
Well, that sauce is good.
Good. I like it when you say, that's good.
No, that's not what I said. I said, the sauce is good.
Okay.
It's a bechamel sauce.
Yes.
We've been watching a lot of food TV.
Yes, indeed.
It's really good, baby.
Good.
Flavorful. And we certainly get a lot of vegetables.
You do? Yeah.
I mean, we put a lot of vegetables in it. Be interesting to see if Izzy likes it tomorrow. Because we got a lot left.
Yes.
So, yeah, good. And it was super simple.
Yes.
I mean, it takes us longer because we're making these videos, but yeah, if you were just trying to do this at home, you probably can knock this out pretty quick, especially if you were doing a rotisserie chicken.
It's pretty much a 30-minute meal. Yep.
Yeah. All right, good job, baby. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to grow up and be a solid gold dancer. That was my one goal in life. And sadly, that did not transpire.
It's not too late.
It's not too late. I'm sure Solid Gold is still hiring.
Solid Gold, the generic version.
Right.
Geriatric.
Geriatric edition.
Solid
Come on, Dancing with the Stars ain't got nothing on Solid Gold. Come on, the spandex was amazing.
I can get you an outfit.
Plus, you know, you had the big red and
I don't remember.
the guy who makes the Dunkin' Donuts commercials in between there. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's okay.
I only watched it for the dancers.
Oh, I see. The truth comes out.